Ready to transform your athletic performance from the inside out? Meet Laura Segundo-Collins, known as the athlete psychotherapist who's revolutionizing mental wellness in sports. Whether you're an athlete, coach, parent, or program, Laura offers 4 game-changing workshops: the Whole Person Athletics Revolution, Connecting with a Trauma-Informed Approach, Remastering Me, Myself, and I, and Mindful Development. For more information, visit lcollinslcsw.com and begin your journey to holistic athletic excellence today.
Hi, I'm Laura Segundo-Collins.
And I'm Joy Silva Malora.
And welcome to Hanacity.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. How's everyone doing?
We're good. We're good. It's just been a little bit of a wild past month for me. So trying to get into the pace of it, but slowing down. So
yeah. What's going on?
I'm in the middle of competitive season right now.
Oh, yeah. That makes
the
sense.
thick of it.
Mm-hmm. How are the athletes doing?
They're doing really, really good, actually. Like, fantastic. We had a state a couple weeks ago, and we had some personal best. We had a few state champions. So the girls did
Congratulations.
Awesome. Yeah, very proud. We were all really excited for them, the girls, and the parents were happy. So, it was good. And then we have regionals and nationals coming up. So we still have 2 more competitions.
Yeah.
Still in the thick of it.
How are you doing? This is your first season back.
How
is it going?
Kind of like we talked on our last episode, it goes up, it goes in waves. Every competition brings something different. Some competitions are better than the others. This past competition, actually, it was very sweet. Mervin woke up really early to take me, and he stayed with me. Those are always easier because you just felt supported, and maybe I shouldn't say this on the podcast, but he came out on the floor and posed as a coach. So dressed the part, stood by me. So that was really nice. And
yes.
It was like a point of toe here and there.
Coaches need community too, right?
Yeah,
coaches need community too.
Absolutely. Well, also with his dance background, we're hoping for him to work with the girls in the summer. Ooh. So technically, he is kind of a coach,
Definitely.
But
definitely.
Yeah.
He sent that very cute video of him teaching my mom and y'all some fun steps the last time she was in LA.
Oh yeah, your mom got into it. Yeah, and I was surprised. My mom actually went in there and did it. And so it was like your mom, my mom, and my nieces. And so it was very, very, awesome. Very sweet. Yeah.
She loved it. She absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Fantastic. We have an amazing guest today, a sweet friend of mine. Her name is Makini Chisolm-Straker. She's a doctor and a master's of public health. And she's an amazing athlete as well. She has this incredible story. I'm so excited for everyone to meet Makini today. So let me read her bio. Makini Chisolm-Straker, MD, MPH, badass, is a policy-based reparations specialist with a background in public health and domestic policy, a former White House fellow, folks, and visiting professor of history at Yale University's Gilder Lehrman Center for the Study of Slavery, Resistance, and Abolition. Who are we talking to today?
I know, it's like not an overachiever at all.
What is this? No. Makini's work focuses on reparations to Black and Indigenous people in what is now the United States. By centering the populations that are the foundation of the nation's wealth, Makini proposes structural changes that value and bring us toward communal abundance. In high school, Makini played volleyball, basketball, and lacrosse. In undergrad, she started playing rugby and has been playing ever since. Just sensational human being. So excited for y'all to meet her today.
Rugby is not an easy sport to keep doing. Wow, that's pretty phenomenal. All right.
Yeah, I'm like trying to do the sport of getting out of bed in the fucking morning. So like, this is great.
How'd it go today?
Well, I'm also, the final thing is I guess I have to update on the hip situation, folks.
Oh gosh, yeah.
So I do have a labral tear And it turns out that I have hip dysplasia, which I did not know. And I had this like traumatic experience or like some triggers to remembering those days when I used to have really bad turnout as a gymnast. And those times we'd be in the frog position in like 1988, and you'd have a grown adult standing on the 11-year-old's hips to push him down. But yeah,
Not just a
so
grown adult, Laura, like a
yeah,
grown man, probably over 200 pounds.
right, right. Well,
And you're like
Rick was
50
pretty small, so
pounds.
let's say like 100.
Well, you had Bella on you, and I had Geza on me. Like,
It's true.
they weren't
It's true.
small men.
It's a good point. Yeah, yeah. But fair, 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 fair. Anyway, so I'm set for the world of PT for now, and then, we'll see from there. Hopefully it gets better, but we'll see because I don't know if I've shared with everybody here, which I don't think I have, is that I am training for my 50th birth year, which would be 2027. My goal is to hike Kilimanjaro and then hopefully celebrate thereafter in some area nearby with loved ones. So hopefully Joy gets to be part of this and Marvin and a few of other of our people. But
Oh, we're
that's the
going.
big goal. Yeah, we're
We're
going.
going. Yeah.
It's going to happen. I'm
No, we
so
will be a part
excited.
of
It's
it.
been on my bucket list for decades now.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was a very sidebar thing, but anyway, thanks for being part of this journey for me. So I will be checking in because this is a big thing for me. When I started training for something, I got like all fired up again. And so now this, of course, part of the taking care of ourselves and having a whole mindset about it versus trying to just keep pushing at it.
Yeah.
Even at
Yeah.
47 and, 30 years after
Yeah.
my years in athletics, like formalized athletics,
Yeah.
still have that mentality of like, my first reaction is like, God, I'm not doing anything. But of course we're doing something. Anyway, taking it in stride.
Got to keep us updated on all the appointments and all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, without further ado, Makini. Hi, Makini.
Hi. Hi,
We're
Laura.
so happy you're here. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here. I'm actually honored to be here. Let me rephrase.
Oh, that's very sweet. Well, we're
Oh, no.
incredibly honored to have you.
Seriously. We just read your bio, Makini. And by the way, it was like, holy shnikes.
Yeah, we definitely paused and we're like, she's not an overachiever here. Not at
Yeah,
all.
no, not at all. Not
What
at all.
the heck?
Not in like an incredible, overachieving, amazing woman of color.
That's very kind of you. That's very generous of you. There are many of us. I'm one among many. So
One among many.
really.
So, if you wouldn't mind, for those who are listening, and for reference, this season has been about process and journey for any of our forever athletes in general. But Makini, maybe you could take us on a little bit of your own journey. Where does it start?
Well, in 14, no, I'm just kidding. We won't go centuries back, but I mean, certainly, I think we all know that we all are here because of centuries of ancestors, millennia. I think that my story begins with the people who made me. So that would be my parents and my father's mother in particular. And then all of the adults that they surrounded me with, who they entrusted me with. And I'm an only child. So it really is a lot of adults. And I come from a large extended family, particularly on my mother's father's side. So never fear, there were a lot of children. I am the oldest of my generation by a decade, but the generation before me took a long time. Like my cousins that are that are closest to my age are a few years older than me, but they're technically another generation, my parents' generation. So I was born and raised for half of my childhood, more than half my childhood in Brooklyn, New York. My parents are from Brooklyn, New York. My father's mother is an immigrant from Jamaica, and she raised 3 children, ultimately as a single mother, was able to purchase her own home and worked in various positions, paid and unpaid, serving the community. Her people were just whoever was in the community. So she helped people learn English, apply for their citizenship papers, green cards, naturalization, and so forth, study for the tests. She helped certainly me, but also folks around the block with their grammar, if they're like either submitting a paper for school or for work, for community boards and councils. Graham was just the person that if you needed help, you could go to her. And the only question was, when do you need it? And she lived on that block for, I think, my father's whole life, definitely all of my life. My aunt still lives in that house. And I lived with my parents 2 blocks away. And so basically I grew up on that block that my father grew up on, that my grandmother lived in. And it was the kind of block where you didn't have a name if you were a child, you were Yvonne's granddaughter. They were like, you're,
so
yeah, come here. Yeah, sit over here. Let me, that's where I come from. That's who I come from. I am a proud child of public schools, and I'm really like watching my friends who are my family raising their kids now. I'm so grateful for what my parents had and the parents of our generation had in public schools in New York, because nothing was perfect, certainly could have been better. But the hoops that people have to go through now to get a 6-year-old to learn to read, that's wild. The amount of money it costs, the applications, and you're like, well, it's a child. It wants to learn. Could you please just let them?
Yeah.
Like, it's so hard what parental figures have to do today.
Yeah.
And to be fair, what parental figures have had to do for so long, especially the United States. But yeah, so I feel really grateful and really proud to be a Brooklynite, a New Yorker. And then when I was 10, my mother moved us to Baltimore, Maryland, to Baltimore County, went kicking and screaming. I'm a New Yorker, just it is in my never wasn't. We were home here at least once a month, usually twice. I had braces and no orthodontist would work over someone else's work. So we had to keep coming back for my teeth.
Wow.
Our family was still up here. So all holidays, birthdays, like all the events. So I don't have like an emotional tie to Baltimore that way, but I do have a deep appreciation and gratitude for the schools that I went to there. I went to visual arts magnet schools, and it was something that it turned out I was good at. And I think this is something that you'll relate to as athletes. It's not really something that I loved in the way that I think a real artist can't breathe without the art. It was something that I was good at. It allowed me to go to a magnet schools that did not cost money outside of the actual fine arts are expensive. Okay. Like all the rentals out there. So sorry. Like so buying brushes, like the things you learn, like you can buy makeup brushes. The brushes that you use to paint with are just like makeup brushes, but they charge more for makeup brushes. So everyone go to your local visual arts store for your makeup brushes. Hot tip.
Wow. Pro tip.
Yeah, I was going to say it. Did not know that.
Good quality. Good quality. My focus besides painting was black and white 35mm photography, which is what I still shoot. And the instructors there were like the instructors that I've had my entire life. I'm really grateful for. Like my kindergarten teacher came to my high school graduation. Mrs. Wilson was there. So I've been really lucky to have teachers that care about education and invest in the people that they're educating, not just for the 8 hours a day, for not enough months in the year. I'm sure enough months for them, they need a break, but like not enough for the rest of us who are very happy to have children in school during the day. And I got pulled into the visual art department, like chair's office, when I said, oh, I'm going to be a doctor. I'm not going to apply to art schools because I was in trouble. They were like, that's a waste. You're so good. And I was like, thank you so much. No, thank you though. So yeah, and I guess that's like the beginning of the like career of like, yes, then she became a doctor, yada, yada, yada. But for me, I was always going to be a doctor that was going to do emergency medicine. That was never a question. I wasn't like, what kind of doctor will I be? It's like, oh, I'm going to med school so I can do emergency medicine. My mother is a social worker. My father is an emergency medicine physician associate. So it's in my blood, right? But it wasn't like a great love of medicine per se, but I saw emergency medicine as medicine's vehicle for social justice work. Because in the emergency department, at least since the 80s, since EMTALA, we see all comers regardless of ability to pay. It's like the classic like race, color, creed, like all the things. Whoever is the sickest is our most important patient. That is how we decide. That is what we're taught. That's what we're trained. And so that's what I valued, that anyone could come in, and it wasn't, are you wearing pearls? Do you speak the best English? Do you have connections? It was, what do you need? And how can we serve? And the longer I was doing that, it became clear that really preventing problems, as much as I enjoy, and I still practice clinically, enjoy the procedure and the listening to stories, the way that we really protect people and our well-being is domestic policy. And so that's how I got into that. But like always doing things that matter or that bring you joy comes from my parents and from my father's mother. So
I'm wowed because
Yeah.
like to have
Speechless right now.
those, I think what's so beautiful about your story, it's really about like having mentorship. Like there just seem to be so many people in your childhood, before you and during your childhood, that really mentor you. And that's something that I wouldn't say that I didn't have completely. And I knew I had loving parents, but I think like with culturally, in terms of where they saw us, it was like a lot of like doing as opposed to like thinking about like potential and how to foster those things, or seeing the person and how I do think my parents poured into me. I don't think that they didn't, but I think it was like, let me make sure there's a roof over your head, feed you. I think education was really, really important to them, but it was always about doing better than them. It was almost like a love through experience. Like, we didn't come from much. We're here because it will give you an opportunity of what we couldn't have. And it was much like that, where I think you just naturally, there's so many elements into your story, like even the fine arts thing, like you went to this magnet school and yeah, it was like for your education, but then you found like there was something that you were good at and it got you through this, and you didn't go on that track even though it sounded like you were talented to do that. But you had in your mind, you're like, no, I knew I wanted to do this. And this is the vision, this is the goal. And it sounded like these people around you sort of let you navigate your life. I think there's a lot of interruptions in my life where my parents was like, "Oh, you're good at this. Here, let's turn the head this way and you go on this track, you know?" So I really think that's beautiful about your beginnings.
Yeah, I was really lucky. I think that's really insightful that, and I can't always say like how I came up with an idea of like, I'm going to play trumpet. Right. It was mediocre at best.
Probably looked fun, you know?
Actually, honestly, I wanted to play cello, but I didn't know they made different sizes and I wasn't, and I'm still not that tall. So I just thought I wasn't tall enough. So I was like, I'll play
Oh,
trumpet.
interesting.
Those are wildly different instruments. So I don't know how, but you know, that's what happens in a 10-year-old's brain. Like no one knows what's happening.
Yeah.
But they never, my mother especially never said no. It was like, let me figure out how. Because so, you know, my mother was working multiple jobs. You know, it wasn't like a, oh, we have the money to make all this happen.
Right.
But if it was something to do with my education or my edification, they made it happen. And there was certainly probing, right? Like, why do you want to do that? But it wasn't, no, that's a terrible idea. Like you've been doing this and you're going to keep doing this. Like, so I was really lucky. They were really on purpose. But again, you know, my mother's a social worker. So like and her focus, especially at that point, was children and development and all the things. So I think she had an edge that the other parents might not have had. Maybe.
Also really beautiful. It's really beautiful.
Yeah. And Makini, where does sports come in to your life then?
Okay, you know how like there's always the stories of those kids who like they're like you don't know where they put it all, like they eat but they're still just like, I didn't break 100 pounds till high school, like I just was like scrawny fully. Like
hilarious.
I had glasses.
Oh, how cute.
Braces. I actually didn't want them to come off because I thought they made me look more mature, which just tells you what kind of nerd I was and the kinds of friends I had. I started playing volleyball, basketball, and lacrosse, like one each season in high school. Mediocre at best. Like every now and again, there would be bursts of brilliance, and we'd all be like, where did that come from? And I'd be like as it's happening, I'm dribbling down the court. I'm like, oh, it's the flat out truth, especially on offense, to be perfectly frank. Like offense doesn't come naturally to me though. Defense, don't come to my house. I remember I was like the second point guard, like Angie was our real point guard. And then like when Angie deserved a break, Makini was point guard. And I was guarding this girl and she kept being like, what are you doing? Get off. Like, but no one was blowing a whistle. So I was like, I think I'm just going to stay on. And then, you know, a whistle got blown because I think she had it, like she had it for too long. I don't remember what happened, but I hadn't done anything wrong. And I went over to my coach and was like, she's mad at me. What do I do? And he's like, no, that's defense. Like you're doing the right thing. It's man to man and you're doing it right. So just keep it up. And same for lacrosse. Like really, I was not very good, especially on offense. Like I remember one time I was on the opposite side of the pitch on the off, and I was like, oh, somebody needs to come get this ball. Like I do not know. but on D, I'm like, you're not scoring in my house, right? Like
That's awesome.
it's like a natural sort of reflex for me. But I wasn't actually, it wasn't a natural skill set for me. Like volleyball, I didn't play with glasses and I didn't wear contacts. And so I would say 10 to 15% of balls were caught with my face.
Oh, loves.
Lack of depth perception. Which I was fine with. Like I was like, this is par for the course. It's like this is sports. But in college, I started playing rugby in my junior year. I wanted to bulk up, which didn't really happen. I should say I'm vegetarian, was raised, right? And so eggs did not agree with me, but I didn't realize that it was essentially a GI allergy. Like I eat them and they come back. So I was like, eggs, and like, I'm just gonna get all the protein. And that was just like a waste of eggs. Like it was not. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna play. And they were like, all right, yeah, she's a winger. And it was like a natural fit for me because I could use my body. Like
I was gonna say it's a defensive sport, girl. That is like contact.
But it's also, I mean, honestly, I think it's the most beautiful sport because people are like, oh, it's so aggressive. I'm like, no, American football is aggressive because you use that as a battering ram. You're all padded up and you're told to go take someone down. That is illegal in rugby. If they're not holding a ball, we can't tackle you. And if I tackle someone incorrectly, not only do I get sin binned, I'm going to get hurt. So I'm looking to not hurt anyone. I just want you to release the ball. And so I'm going low every time, right? Like I'm going for the legs. And also, if you think about it, when you hit someone, then you ruck over, you're actually protecting that person that's next, right? So all of us are rucking over them. But no, you know, if you have like good sports person like qualities, you're not trying to step on them and that kind of stuff. And I think people also don't really realize in club and university and school rugby, we socialize with the team that we just played right after.
That's awesome.
We don't do that in most other sports.
Right.
So we see each other as kinfolk. And I played for my university. I played for the local town after when I went to med school, because you couldn't be a graduate student and play on the under, like that was some sort of crime or something. And so then when I moved back to New York, I played for the New York team for a while. And mind you, I played with women who are amazing, have played internationally for the nation. The coach for New York, Emily Bidewell, we played together at undergrad. I was never anywhere near as good as Bidewell. Like, I'm not comparing myself to her, just to say that I played with women who were powerful and amazing. Now what year is this? For probably 15 years, I've played for a touch rugby club in Prospect Park in New York. And it's just like you walk on, and I don't even know people's names, but we're fam, you know? And years later, you learn someone's last name. Years after that, you learn what they do for a living. You know? Years later, you realize you disagree on certain like political things, but by the time you get there, you've seen them as a person for so long, and they've seen you as a person for so long. And that, to me, that's where, like, anywhere in the world that I've ever been able to either shag balls or play pickup with a team or a bunch of friends, there's a bond there that, and I think that's probably true in all sports, but I think it's just special for rugby for obvious biased reasons. But like, it's really special that, I mean, I shagged balls for the Sydney Swans because I walked into a practice one time when I was visiting in Australia, and they could have been like, in the US, they would have been like, no visitors, no autographs. I didn't want autographs. I just wanted to bring your ball back. And they just
That is so cool.
They didn't know me from anybody.
Wait, you just walked in?
I just walked in. They were practicing. And I didn't even ask. I just started shagging balls and nobody stopped me. And they were like, cheers. And I was like, word. And that was it. I did that for like 30 minutes. And then I like walked away.
It's incredible.
Yeah, that's rugby.
It's rugby.
Wow.
See, that's interesting. That's like, that requires a culture that is just embracing and welcoming in that way.
Communal.
It's communal.
Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Definitely.
I mean, I can't even imagine if some rando person came to a gymnastics competition and started moving your mats to make, you know, like that would be so, I'd be like, what are they doing?
Right.
Yeah, it's just the idea. Yeah, that's really cool. Amazing.
Yeah, it's special.
Yeah, and your body still holds up to playing it today.
It does and it doesn't.
I was going to say, that's incredible. It does.
I mean, you all have talked about this, but you live with chronic pain. Yeah. And in some ways, it's a badge of honor, right? Because it's like, oh, this hurts because of that time. And I learned this lesson from that. Or whatever. But I can look at every injury, like real true injury that I've had, and see that was my technique. That was on me. No one did that to me. Right? Like, that wasn't a rugby injury where someone hurt me. That was when I was foolhardy and not paying attention or whatever it was. And sometimes accidents just happen because that's just life. But for the most part, yes. And I will say, 9 times out of 10, I mean, it now at this point, it's touch rugby because I need my brain and my hands a lot.
Yeah.
They're my real skill set for earning a living in a capitalist system and what I contribute to community and society at large. And I'm playing with people, mind you, who I'll be 42 in a month and some change, playing people in their 60s, and they are fire. They are fast.
Wow.
And then you get like some 18-year-olds who comes on and they think they're fast, and we're like, that's cute. They'll burn out. And they always do, because we have endurance. We will play for hours.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
They're doing it. I mean, rugby's a 24/7, let me rephrase, 365, not 24/7. It's a 365 sport. So it's like the postal worker, rain, sleet, snow. I, however, am a fair weather friend now because I don't need to be out in the blizzard. But lots of the guys that I play with they're like, yeah, it's 26. It's warm enough.
Oh my gosh.
That's
like
amazing.
my husband. My husband does beach volleyball, and it's like rain or shine that he will go on it. And similarly, there are like people in their 60s that play, and they outlast the youngins. And he's like, they're incredible. Like, they're so good. But yeah, and it's that communal aspect that he connects to in a lot of ways. It's that like you meet their spouse like 5 years later, or it's sort of very similar. Like, you're married? Like, I didn't know that, But yeah, it's very
But all
much
I
like
ever said was pass the ball. Left, left,
and
left.
the connection is the game. It's just the love of the game. It's really cool.
Yeah, actually, Makini, it's reminded me of, I know that you mentioned this in some of your writings, which if anyone's listening, you should definitely follow Makini's posts on LinkedIn. They're so, so good on reparations. Please, please, we'll definitely put in the show notes. It's just so heartwarming and touching and so much learning. But one of the things that you say, and it's making me think about this right now, is, and I say this a lot in general, but the loss of the village hearth in many ways. And you just wrote this actually in your last post about the power of stories. And Joy and I are obviously, we're all about stories. But the narrative, someone's chosen words for oneself, and how, when we're younger, how those words are chosen for us in many ways, or the conditionings of society, and because of race and gender and all the things that we've been going through as a world, the messaging that we receive that becomes our narrative. But when we make a choice, when we become self-aware, we are around other people in this community that's like, but I love you anyway. I love you just the way that you are. Then we sort of open up, and then that quote, that sort of like, your past is not your fault, but your present and your future are your responsibility. Then we have this opportunity to sit around this fire, share stories. And then we come to choose our own narrative and see it with our own eyes and our own heart and our own minds. And what I'm hearing right now is that's what rugby can be. That's what sports can be. That's the beautiful thing about sports, is that it can be this village hearth that we are all pining for, I think, in this world. We're all pining for human connection nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, sport is, in one of the fellowships I did, one of my co-fellows, he and his wife have 6 kids. So many.
Bless them. Amazing. Well, it's like almost a baseball team. That's
it's a
amazing.
basketball team and a sub. So, but the kids, they run a, what do you call that? Like, American Ninja Warrior, like the obstacle course thing. I can't remember what the language is, but like they have one of those that they run for military families. And the kids get on and the kids climb. And I mean, he and I have definitely different political opinions on certain things. But I think where we find that common value, one of the areas is around this concept of sport, not so much sport as like for the competition per se, but of trying, because no one tells you that you can't do something when you're 3, you just climb it. And then everyone's like, and it's like, oh, was that important? Was that impressive? Didn't know I couldn't do it. Right. And that's, I think, something really lovely about how I was raised. Also in 3rd grade, after regular school, I did this biology regents course in New York. If you're going to graduate high school, you have to take like these regents exams. And so I was taking biology with these high school students, and I was 8. But if you think about biology, it's actually not hard. Like, honestly, like, it's not because I was super smart. It's because biology is not rocket science. It's like, this is a heart. You explain it as a pump, right? Like, you talk about it. I mean, there's maybe some complicated parts, like, but it's.
Yeah, that's still, I mean, Makini, that is still a little bit Doogie Howser-esque. I'm sorry. That's.
But that's what I'm saying. Nobody told me I couldn't do it, right?
There's never limitations on you. Yep.
In 3rd grade, we started doing simple algebra. But everyone is doing simple algebra if you think about it. You're asking a child what plus 2 makes 5? That's algebra. But if you don't use the word algebra and make it sound scary, that child doesn't know they can't do that.
Right.
And so starting sport for any young person as their prefrontal cortex is still developing, as their sense of identity and self-worth is developing, not so much is it important, I think, that they get a sense of accomplishment from like the medal, but even in individual sports, you're usually training with others. So there's that camaraderie. You're cheering someone else on. When they win, you win.
Mm-hmm.
When you fall down and you get up, that's a win.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you learn all of these things that will take you through life. You learn what it means to be a team member. And so sometimes it sucks when like somebody else does something and then we all have to run laps and you're like, bro, really?
Mm-hmm.
Really? But then it's not gonna be my fault. I'm not gonna be the one that makes us all do push-ups.
Yeah.
Right. And so you learn responsibility to a community. You learn all those things in sport. And it's just good, clean fun. Like sometimes it's just nice to like shoot a snot rocket or like get dirt on your face, you know, like,
Yeah.
you know, you feel like, even though you know you're like not.
Yeah. No, I agree. Because Makini, I went back into coaching gymnastics and I had an 18-year hiatus, and taking what was 18 years ago and shifting my whole focus. And me and Laura always says this, like we're creating champions of life, not,
Yeah.
you know, a champion of a sport. And it has shifted my focus completely on how I work with kids now. It's actually like the element of all these things that they learn in sport. It was like a new development in this whole healing process of like, oh my God, this whole thing about my childhood trauma, I still have taken it and there has been good out of it. And how I approach things with that athlete mentality of how it's prepared me in the world, it blew my mind in a lot of sense because I always associated my experience with sports as negative. And that's why I had to take that time apart from it. And 18 years later, I'm like, oh my God, I can use this and transform it in a completely different way and see how I can implement something that will prepare these kids outside of sport. And
I
it
remember
was,
that episode where you shared that.
Mhm.
And I remember thinking, not that like you went through that for these children, because I'm not one to ascribe someone's
Yeah.
positive, like that's not my place. But I think how lovely and wonderful it is that you are able to revisit and pull learning from that. Because not everyone either gets that opportunity or has that capacity or whatever the right fit is for them. But not everyone gets to do that. And I'm really grateful that that has happened for
Thank
you.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm grateful too. Like, I'm really grateful. It's
I
great
mean,
to be on this side.
it's all those lessons. It's like
Yeah.
your form, your technique matter. I'm not teaching you this for my own help, you know, like all the things that like,
Yeah.
but it's true for like writing and grammar, right? Like once you know the rules, you know why they exist. There are opportunities to bend, shift, step outside of them. But if you don't know why they exist, you're just breaking them. That's not art.
Right.
Right.
Right. That's a good point.
So you transfer all of that to those kids are so lucky to have you both.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's true.
Can we shift gears just a little bit?
Yeah.
Because I want to talk about this incredible physician to public health to reparations to, I mean, your past has just blossomed into what you're doing right now, and in such a major way that is so impactful. And it means so much to so many people. I, for one, am going to say thank you so much, because I really think that your writing it's healing for me to read as a person of color in this world. So I just want to thank you, Makini. I just appreciate you so much. When we talk about reparations and we talk about race stuff in general, people get really scared, or they feel like immediately that all the walls go up and it's like everyone's already so offended, or, you know, it's not me, defensive or offensive. But your writing comes out, there's just so much love and grace and like really trying to put things together. You do a lot of work that a lot of people should be doing anyway, but you kind of package it for everybody. Can you tell me, and this is like a loaded question, but this process that has gotten you into this space to be able to share your stories and your expertise with the world along the topic of reparations, can you walk us through this journey for you?
Yeah, wow, thank you. Well, thank you first of all for just reading.
So
You know,
good.
you write stuff. I think all writers, and I don't know if I should even put myself in that category because Toni Morrison's in that category, and I'm not.
You're
Like,
definitely a writer.
no,
Oh,
no,
no.
but yeah,
Yes,
but like
yes, yes.
there's a spectrum. But yeah, I think you're right. And part of it is like, it's therapy for you, right? Like you're doing it for you. But because then you publicize it, it is performative as anything that is, out there is. But you're like, is anyone reading it? Like, is it useful in some way? So I appreciate that very much, that even just that you're reading it, but then for that feedback. And that's wild that you read. I posted today. So like, you're amazing for having read it.
So
Because
good.
that was a solid 5 to 6 minute read, which we know that the world doesn't do anymore. Yeah, so I'll say the journey, I guess it goes back to probably, again, my parents and my grandmother, of service. No one ever told me like, oh, you need to do one of these kinds of jobs. To be fair, I didn't know all the jobs that existed, and the jobs that exist today did not exist in 1987. Okay. Like when people were asking me when I was 5, that was not an option. Like half the things that exist today, reparations specialist wasn't going to be on the list. But based on what they taught me about and who they taught me about, I interpreted, again, no one said this, but from what they taught me about, what I saw, what I witnessed, I just interpreted that I was supposed to do something that contributed, right? Like that was the big sum up takeaway, right? And I didn't have a plan after that. I started reading X-Men when I was 7 or 8. And my father's brother, my uncle, he was also into X-Men when he was younger. So I got to read his comics of the X-Men when they started in the 60s.
Wow.
So I've read from the 60s to the 90s of X-Men.
Wow.
So
So
cool.
there was a time where I was like really into it. And then I transitioned into X-Files because
So good.
so good. And I don't 100% have a reason for what, like, I don't remember what the reason was. The 16-year-old me said, I'll be a doctor, but I think it was Gillian Anderson's character, Dana Scully.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to be a forensic scientist, I think. And I realized that you probably wouldn't have as many resources as you do on TV. So I was like, I'll just be a doctor, like just.
Yeah. You know what, side note, there was actually just, I think like a week or two ago, an article that I just ran through. I skimmed it. I didn't go into detail, but it was the amount of women in STEM because of Dana Scully.
I saw that.
totally believe that.
That's me.
So
That's me.
cool.
I
Really
wanted Dana
cool.
Scully for Halloween one time. No one knew who I was because I was just wearing a suit and a trench coat. That was the main way you knew I was an FBI agent. But when I was a kid, I wanted to be a teacher, like in school, but I realized that was too much work. So I wasn't going to do that.
Fair.
Teaching every
Bless
day.
the teachers in the world.
30 kids in a classroom, they are saints. Bless all of them. And so I was like, yeah, I'll just be a doctor. Emergency medicine, it happened. I went to undergrad. And when I was applying to undergrad, I applied to this program. It was an 8-year program, still 4 years of undergrad, 4 years of med school. When you apply, if you get into the med school, you're into that med school. You don't need to apply to any others if you don't want to. And so you don't have to take as many pre-med requirements. So like I took the SAT2s and placed out of physics. I concentrated in religious studies, which is stories. And that's people. Like if you're going to be a clinician and you don't know people, you're not really going to be a clinician. You're just a scientist. You have that part.
So true.
So I think all the things that have made me a halfway decent clinician are, yes, knowing the science, right? Because you have to know your fit, your technique. That's the sport, right? Like you have to have that. But then there's the art of how do you meet someone where they are and do the social work part of this person needs tough love, this person needs a handhold, and like learning to listen to what's in between and what's outside and, all those things. That's all the other things, visual arts, religious studies, X-Men, X-Files, all of that. And because I knew I was going into emergency medicine, I was going to the emergency department on my birthday and like doing shadow shifts. And I was just like the nerd who was just always there. And so I was experiencing, I think, sooner than maybe what other people would have experienced if they had just done the path. So I got involved in research quite early. In my first month or two of medical school, I started asking questions. One of my colleagues, Catherine Chun, based on a project that she and another student did in undergrad, founded the first international anti-trafficking organization called, it was at the time it was called Polaris Project. Now it's just Polaris. And so she'd come back to our alma mater where I was now in med school to talk about the lack of recognition of people with a trafficking experience in healthcare settings. And I asked the silly question, really, so obvious, well, what can we do to be better? And she was like, oh, you have to teach your colleagues. And I was like, oh, I don't have any colleagues. I'm a medical student. It's my first month. And then ultimately was tasked by her and another friend with doing it anyway, which meant I had to learn. So I spent time learning. One of my first teachers was a survivor named Jill Riva. who actually recently died a couple weeks ago, largely from complications from being trafficked for so many years. And she gave me permission to listen and learn from her, and trusted me with her story, and trusted me to share her story. And so again, I've had these amazing teachers. And so in doing all of that, became a researcher and yada, yada, yada. The more time I spent researching with and about invisible populations, trans and genderqueer folks, trafficking survivors, immigrants who are being persecuted, et cetera, like all of that, and working in the emergency department, it became clear to me that emergency medicine, still, it's the dopest specialty. It's fire. But we mitigate fallout. And actually all of healthcare does, including primary healthcare. Like the one thing that we can truly do to prevent a problem is vaccination. We can intervene, find things early. We can recognize a risk factor, but even having that risk factor means that a harm has already happened, right? So how do we protect people? That's domestic policy. And so that began my transition into domestic policy of saying, I'm not saying that we shouldn't do the things that we need to do to mitigate harm. Just like right now, living in a time of fascism, I'm not saying don't engage in survival strategies, just that that's not enough. What are we surviving for? How do we stop this from ever happening again? We have to do both in parallel, which means maybe everyone can't do both things, but we need teams on both, right? Like that's why you have an offense and a defense, right? In order to win, you can't just score goals, because if the other team is also scoring goals, they might outscore you. So you got to have a strong D. So it became for me that of doing the emergency medicine, because it's still a skill set that I have. It's still something that I bring to the table and I still enjoy. It is getting harder the more capitalist healthcare becomes in this country. But I felt like my calling, my purpose was actually in being an ancestor that was trying to help that not happen moving forward.
Are you ready to embrace a healthier, more vibrant life? Look no further than With Joy, a transformative movement and nutrition program that goes beyond the ordinary. With Joy is not just a program, it's a movement. We believe that true wellness encompasses mind, body, and spirit. Our approach is rooted in compassionate care, tailored to each individual. We're here to elevate you to a place of health, wellness, and healing. Whether you're a seasoned athlete or just starting your fitness journey, we've got something for you. Our comprehensive programs include strength, mobility, endurance, and conditioning to elevate your fitness, recovery and recuperation for healing, and nutrition wellness plans to fuel your body for optimal performance. Check out our show notes for more information and links to our programs. Join the With Joy movement today and discover a whole new way to thrive.
I hadn't really conceptualized reparations the way that I think about it now, specifically to Indigenous nations and US Blacks. I went to Cuba in March 2022, right after Russia had invaded Ukraine. And because of the relationship that Cuba and Ukraine have, there was a supply shortage. They had lots of resource shortages. And when I was looking at who was queuing up for food and gasoline and supplies, it was Black and Mestizo Cubanos. And I was asking economists and the folks that I was meeting there, why is this happening? And essentially they had explained that generational wealth was still allowed to happen in Cuba. So you could still inherit wealth. And so when you look at pre-socialist revolution, who had wealth, it was white Cubanos. And so that was sort of it wasn't really an aha, it was sort of like a rolling into an aha, where I then recognized, number one, the lived realities of the US and Cuba are more alike than either country wants us to believe. But two, they had leveled the playing field, right? Like everyone theoretically has access to healthcare and education and so forth, but they didn't equalize the starting points. And that's what reparations is. And as I, delved really deeply into history and research and thinking about how that reckons with my values, I started to think about what do I really want from reparations? Because it's not for me about strictly a reckoning of the past. I think the reckoning of the past is how you get into good relationship, how you become good relationship, how you get into balance. But that's not the end to me. That's the means of us getting towards communal abundance. And so if you are willing to, as a nation, restructure policies that have for centuries harmed the two populations that foundationally are the wealth of the nation, if you're willing to do that, that means that you're willing to change your North Star. You're willing to say, this matters in a way that we didn't recognize before. And if you can do that, if you can change your policies, then why not change them towards communal abundance? And so for me, that's what reparations is about. It's about finding ways, making ways to achieve communal abundance, and everything else that is good will come because of that, because of that process.
It's so powerful.
It's like so beautiful.
Right?
Getting
Isn't it
teary-eyed
like
just when you're
amazing?
talking about it. Yeah, phenomenal.
She's a doctor, guys. Doctor's orders. We should just listen to her.
Yeah, I'm a doctor. Thank you.
Yeah. But that's the thing, that idea of communal abundance. We're not talking about utopia.
Yeah.
We're talking about realistic, tangible, real ways of upping the quality and capability of everybody, which is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, suffering is a part of life, but disproportionately certain groups suffering more than others, that's a part of policy, and policy is made by people, so we can change it.
And that's why I think your writings are really important, because I think when people read it, I think people will see that, oh, actually, that seems pretty practical and pretty logical, actually. You know, it's not forcing anybody to do anything that's so wild. All you have to do is say, I want everybody to win. And for me, that means Indigenous and Black bodies, minds, and souls need to be thought of in ways that white people have always been thought of. Right? And then all the rest of us. I still remember my dad being like, and in our house, it was ESL because my parents spoke different languages. In Joy's house as well as ESL because her parents spoke different languages. And it was like, well, that's okay because you need English here because that's the only way to survive. Like the messaging of like, just put yourself aside and be quote unquote American. But America in that way, white America would never accept us that way. We're never going to be part of it. So when I read your stuff and I see these like very logical and tangible ways that our communities could all count, it gives me hope.
Thank you. I mean, it's a practice, you know.
It is a practice. Yeah.
It's not like my mindset or something or a characteristic that I have. It is an actual effort. That is what part of that writing is. But yeah, I mean, even just when you were describing, you know, the very common immigrant story of trying to survive in a place that didn't acknowledge your value, the skill set, the culture, the brilliance that you brought, right? Not you, I mean like you as an immigrant, one,
right.
And saying that the only way to value, to be valued, to matter is to fit this mold, which isn't, that's not true. It's wrong. It's unfair. It's all the things. But even just understanding how this history that the United States has, this culture that we have, is not black and white in the race terms, nor is it in the like visual arts terms, right? Like it is so much more complicated, and we are so much more connected, right? And we have Black Indigenous people, we have Blasian love, we have like the Asian American concept, that terminology comes out of civil rights work that Asians and Blacks did together and learned from, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, it's all of us together, really. Solidarity is, I think, a natural, because of sports, not because of sports, but as you see in sports, it is a natural setting, and to pull folks out of that takes so much more effort. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really glad that you're getting the nice, good, loving vibes from RX reparations, because it's not meant to be, it's meant to be informative and hopefully visionary or vision providing, not see bad, bad, bad. Don't do that. We're doing this. You know what I mean? Like that's not helpful. And that's how we got here.
Yeah.
It's not working.
Yeah, 100%.
It's really beautiful. That's all I have.
Yeah.
It's just like I'm kind of taken back on all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. As we continue talking about process and journey, where are you at in your journey?
Well, right now I feel like I'm on my purpose almost perfectly. So presently I serve as the I almost said emergency medicine, as the executive director for the New York State Community Commission on Reparations Remedies. And that commission was created based on legislation. That legislation is focused on specifically descendants of enslavement and structural discrimination in New York State that are Black. It does not focus on Indigenous nations in New York State. And so for me, it's not the full package, it's the beginning. And beginnings are good. Yeah.
Beautiful. Oof. Well, I am full to the brim in my soul. And I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I know we're kind of getting towards the end, but I just wanted to take this moment to say thank you so much, Makini, for sharing your time and your wisdom and your heart and your story with us today. It's been an honor to sit around the fire with you.
Thank you very much for inviting me to your fire. Y'all are fire. I really enjoy listening to you and to your podcast, and I can tell y'all are friends, right? Like, I think that's really special as family. But I can also, as a listener, I get this feeling of they care about the people they're listening to. And I got that here, and I really appreciate that. I just want hugs.
Oh, we're getting hugs.
I'm trying to get to New York soon,
definitely.
Makini. I will give you a hug in person.
Yay.
Yeah.
Ooh,
We told you,
love
me and Marvin said we're trying to do a fall
that's
trip
right.
for my birthday.
Okay. I'm still going to be excited anyway.
That's good. No, that's good timing. I don't want people come in the winter. It's like, why?
Makini, I lived in New York for a short 2 years, and I do not miss, not even a lick.
I mean, to be fair,
winters.
they're much warmer than they used to be when I was growing up, but
yeah.
It's like,
well, it was interesting because the 2 years I was there, somebody said, this is not usual. I'm like, this is all I know. This winter is all I know. And it sucks. I love spring and autumn, and I even love summer in New York because there is something pretty special in the summer. There's so much to do.
So much.
Those winters are brutal.
It's just like, why?
Yeah.
Don't come.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful area. I always have a soft space in my heart for New York, but those 2 winters were brutal on me.
Well, I
true.
look forward to hugs in
Absolutely.
person.
We'll have to go and grab dinner and get drinks or something.
You can go to K-Town or K-Town in Flushing, real K-Town.
Yes, we can go karaoke.
Yes, that's right.
That'll be K-Town. I have a spot, but I can't tell it on the podcast.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
I can't have them.
That's right.
Messing up my spot.
All good. Yeah.
We can have a whole day.
Yep.
We can get our scrub on, we can get some food, and we can get some karaoke.
So great.
There you go.
Yeah, love it all.
Amazing.
So, Makini,
yes.
as you might have heard, but we end every episode with lightning discuss.
Okay, I'm ready.
We're going to share.
Well, you say you're ready.
Fabulous. Well, I think it's going to be apropos for you.
Okay.
So, favorite K-drama to date? Discuss.
Okay, that is really hard.
Yes.
Unreasonable.
So for anybody listening, you should take out a piece of paper and a pen right now, because Makini is probably going to drop a bunch of K-dramas of her recommendation, which I highly recommend.
So what I will say is, well, not the first K-drama that I watched, but I think a classic. If you're new to the genre, you should watch Crashing. What is it? Onto You? Into You?
Crash Landing on You.
Crash Landing. Because the translations are all terrible. And I should also preface by saying, if you're watching a K-drama and you're like, what? You have to wait two full episodes. Like, commit. If in the third episode you're like, no, then no. But there's that. Okay. So that's just the general, Crash Landing is so classic K-drama. Extraordinary Attorney Woo is not a classic style, but it's so well done. And it brings up some really interesting ethical questions that I think cross culture, including someone neurotypical dating someone neuroatypical. Is there a power dynamic, right? And then the third one that I'll recommend, just so we can keep going through questions, is also not K-drama genre typical, but it's called My Mister, and it is so well done. It is actually irrelevant to me that it's a K-drama. It's a good quality program across all, as long as you can read whatever language it's being translated into. The acting is so good. Every episode leads to character development in ways that you're like, these are real people. You're like, oh, I don't like her. And then you're like, oh, well, I see she has some redeeming qualities. But why'd she do that? Oh, but that makes so much more sense. They become people to you. It's so well done. And something that folks should generally know about almost all K-dramas is it's only one season. And I love that. They're like, tell the story and then move on, guys.
Yes.
Don't make this a 12-season situation.
Fair. Nice.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I like that one.
We thought of you on that one. Which is so interesting because I shared with you, I don't watch K-dramas. And so it's so interesting because I think in my childhood, my mom watched all this stuff, but there was it was the same storyline with all of it. It
Yeah.
was like the social economical like dynamics, like one is poor, one is wealthy, it's forbidden love, and then the crazy like in-law mother, like that doesn't get along with one of them, and you're
And
not
that's
good enough
totally
for
there.
my
I'm not
child.
going to pretend
Oh,
that
okay, so they're still there. But I think
that
it was
exists.
just okay. Okay, so I'll prepare for that. But I think in my childhood, I just thought like, oh my gosh, it's all the same thing over and over again. So I just never got on that train. But this whole explanation in your lens, I'm like, wow, this is like deep
You're
here.
missing out. Yeah.
Some of
So
them are really good.
yeah, so I will say this. I have not watched K-dramas, but I have watched Squid Game.
No.
Okay.
Just for Makini.
So I will say this, Makini. I am not a horror film fan. Hate it. Like we'll watch things like under like the sheets, and I'll ask like my husband, like, "Is it done? Is it done? Is it done? Is it done?" And he'll like stay quiet, and so that's when I know I don't pull the sheets down until he's like, "Okay, it's done." But I will say this, my cousin Mike was living with me at this time, and he was like, "Hey, did you hear about this like show, Squid Game? It's Korean." And I had no expectations of what it was. And the whole time I was watching it, I said, "What the fuck, Mike?" Because it was literally like intense and gory, but the storylines were so good. So it's like I'm really engaged, but it was scary as hell. So I will say that I totally understand. If this is not like your jam,
I
appreciate
can
it.
do physical 100. Not a K-drama. It's just like a sports competition. Like that's fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
It's hard.
that's not Squid
It's
Game.
not
Yeah,
the most
Right.
game I
there's a
can
little
do.
bit of a challenge. There's a little bit of like, survival of the fittest type of thing, but no, it's kind of
That's all
gory.
I can handle.
But yeah, so I was like, what the fuck, Mike? And the funniest thing, literally we finished season 1 and he's like, "Oh, have you seen Parasite?" And I was like, "No, I haven't."
Oh no.
Didn't
Oh,
know
yeah.
because
You
I just
don't learn, huh?
did not learn. I should have learned from Mike. But we literally, right after we finished the first season, he shows me Parasite, and I was like, what the fuck is wrong with Korean people? Like, why is everything like
It's
it
not.
was
It's not. It's
Yeah.
just those. It's well, I mean, I don't
just
know.
those two? So I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to go and check out these K-dramas, and I'll let you know the next time we
Yes.
chat.
Really, the moral of the story is don't listen to Mike.
Just don't listen to Mike.
Moral of the story.
Miho,
Yeah.
don't listen to you. We're not listening to
Mike.
you.
You don't
Yeah.
listen to-
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. Your turn.
Well, so far, my favorite, well, I have two that comes to mind. One is actually City Hunter, which is an old one, only because I had my first son during that time, and it like literally got me through postpartum depression so much.
Mm.
I forget his name, Lehrman or something like that. He's just such a beautiful man. Thank you for getting me through postpartum depression. Those first few months of having a baby, so I would sit there and watch City Hunter was on. I really got into it. And then it's The Glory, which is
It's in my
absolutely
queue.
gory.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and we talked about this last time we saw each other, Makini, but it's gory, but it's a woman who was very much bullied as a young person, and then she comes back and she gets her vengeance, and it is excellent.
It's in my queue because of you.
Yeah.
Because
Wow.
I saw
It's
it, like I can't do it, but then you said,
Yeah. No, it's not, it can be kind of gory, but I
can
would,
see those parts.
I would be like, I could sit down in my bed and be like, "Where's my girl? Let's where's she at today?" Yeah, definitely. So good. The story is really, really good and makes you like so angry. Maybe it was part of my own step of processing my own shit in there anyway.
Yeah.
But okie doke. Well, we have our K-dramas all set, folks, and K-gore, K-horror.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much. We love you so much. Love
Thank
you,
for having
Makini.
me.
You're amazing.
Can't wait to see you in person.
Soon.
Yes. All right. Much love.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions, please reach out to us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.
Share and follow us on Amazon, Spotify, and Apple. Help us out and leave a 5-star review. Thanks.